Today we will be talk about the dynamic field 365 field service inventory management, where we are going to take the inventory module, the field service, so that how we can handle the stock in the warehouses, and how we can raise the purchase orders and the field service, and how we can return the products in the uh, to the vendors or to the warehouses. So there's an inventory stock management in the field service. So in the Microsoft Dynamics 365 field service, we have the flow. Once the service agreement is created within customers, the flow needs to be scheduled and documented, completed, and paid for it. So that time the flow is started of the technicians, like they need to be handled it accordingly. The product should be scheduled and dispatched. Once the dispatch process is started, and the dispatch process time, they need to be know about the what things are needed, and how the products should be scheduled, and the what are the products they needed in the truck that time. Then the dispatch process need to be handled like that. And in that dispatch process, they also need an inventory management over there. So in the inventory management, they have the capabilities to capture the real time information from the deliverables, like and even the technician in the field who makes that live updates. That time they need to be know that how many products are to be available in their stock, or how if there is a lack of the products, then they can request to the, as per the company policy, either they request to the warehouse owner, or to the person next to them managing the POs on the company. So for this they also have the right. So that time they wanted the right parts always on the ready to go for the performing the task at the customer sites. So we need to handle the inventory stock management over there. We can also handle the return parts of the return process of the products, and the inventory journals of the products. Like now let's explore about the inventory management. Now we will talk about the connecting field service with the purchasing orders, and how we can handle it. And as I mentioned previously, that the technicians are not only understand what are currently is on hand, they also need to know about the what are on order quantity, then what are the allocated quantity, and how much quantity they will be needed at the time of the product. While performing a specific task, they should know about everything so to the specific project. Like in the field service, technicians can leverage the same products on the work order that salespeople uses for an opportunity codes and order, and they can leverage these products also. But in an inventory management, the product should be defined in the field service sections, like these products are associated with the inventory or non-inventory or in the service part, so that can be handled accordingly. And in the dynamic 365, they also provide the providers and product catalog to define the products, where the products have to be managed like in the different units with the different price units and the costing of the particular products. Then let's see the inventory capabilities of the field service. In it, we have warehousing, where we can store and to structure our products in the stock. And then we have in the inventory adjustment and transferring from the warehouses, from the one warehouses to then another, and from moving the products from the trucks to the vans, and that I will elaborate later. And the consuming and billing of the products during the work orders. And then there is a lack of the products, and then there is a purchasing of the products. And if the products are got defective, and we don't like that, and they were not required at all, then there's a return functionality that are performing the inventory capabilities. After that, to handle all of this, we need an inventory journal. So in the backend side, the field services provides us to handle the inventory journal that are created by the Dynamics, which is in the backend. So to handle all of this, we use this thing. After that, now we can see there is a warehouses and the product inventory. There is an each warehouse will have an inventory level. Like the warehouse represents the term where the inventory to be stored. It can be in either physical or in the movable. The term physical defines here is like it can be a location or the building where the main products to be stored over there, and the movable is the truck and the vans or the movable devices that are used to used by the technicians or the deliverables to transfer the products from the main warehouses to the um, worked environment. And after that to manage the product inventory in the with the warehouses, there are then divide into the records like quantity to be available, and how much on hand, amount of the products on order, current amount of the products that are allocated to the item, like the work orders. Like in a work order, these are the allocated products to you, and all this, and the reordering point. The reordering point are the points that defines on the POs, like these are this order to be made, and now it's going into the out of stock, so you need to reorder the PO. For the warehouses product inventory, you can see here we can take in one of the example to check the inventory flow through the warehouses. Like as I mentioned, there is in two the physical warehouses or the movable warehouses. Here the central warehouses is the physical and the John's truck is the movable warehouses. So to manage it, the inventory the Johns needed one of the quantity of the product to perform the task, which is and the services or the customer side. So they just requested the central warehouse to to deliver the one of the products. So they just transfer the central from the central warehouses to the John's truck, and now you can see that the quantity is got deducted from the central warehouses from 15 to 14, and the printer's quantity got 10 to 9. This is how the inventory product inventory got managed for the warehouses. And the central warehouses can be have the multiple products associated with it. So every product have the available on hand, on order, allocated, and reorder points. Then we have the inventory adjustment. The inventory adjustment is created once when we adding the product in our stock, while for an specific warehouses wherein the multiple products are added in the specific warehouses, and these are created just to maintain the product inventory in the house. And the new truck was added in the physical warehouses. That time the inventory adjustments are created. In inventory adjustment, we need to define the warehouses and the products which are associated with it. And the single warehouses can we have a multiple products adjustment just to adjust the product or to increase or decrease our products in the stock. We need to manage the inventory adjustment. Then we have an inventory transfers. In an inventory transfers, we move the products from the one warehouses to another warehouses, where then to manage the inventory stock here, the specific amount of the products are to be moved to. And while creating an inventory transfer, we need to define the inventory from where we have taken, or from where if we have to send the products. And like the adjustment, the single records could not have, we can have the multiple products to be transferred at the same time. In an inventory transfer, the warehouses, like we cannot select the same warehouses from this to as a source and the destination. We need to define it properly, and there should be in validations from the dynamic sides, like if the quantities to be transferred are not more than the quantities are available, and the on hand quantity should be there, and this all type of the validations are also implemented in the inventory transfer. Then to after managing this stock as a transfer and adjustment level, we comes to the point that the purchase orders. In the purchase order, firstly we need to create a purchase order in our organization, which is status which depends on the status of the POs. Like there's a process, complete process to perform the purchase orders in it. And each PO is updated with their status between the draft to submitted, receive, and cancel. And the product inventory got managed based on the purchase order. Once we either we can make a purchase order, or we can add the inventory by adding the adjustment or by the inventory stock adjustments of the products. And in an organization, and those products either go into the warehouses or to the work order. It can be associated with it. And the technician should know about the how work orders at the time of the technician while working. He can raise the PO also from the work order that these products are needed, so we can order it. And after that, in the PO process, we need to mention all the basic details, like from the vendor date and the PO date and the system status of the PO. To create a PO, we need to follow the process where we have the requesting, gaining, and documenting. In the requesting, we have that we create an PO and adding the POPs. The PO is associated to the vendor from whom we need to order the all the PO products on there. And gaining is then approval process of the PO. Like once the PO is created, it is sent for then approval. Once the PO is submitted, it got added in the inventory stock. Till that we the inventory stock doesn't get updated as per the purchase order. Till if the purchase order was in the draft state, the inventory stock doesn't get updated. After that, after once the PO is submitted, and the documenting should be there to receive the products, and the product receive products in the in the warehouses, and the inventory should get updated as the available quantity of the products are updated accordingly. Then we have a return process. The return process comes sometimes the some organization installed part, and the equipments or the customers locations need to be processed or a return process, that the assets or the products are not at defective, or we didn't want that, then we need to return this product either to the vendor or to the warehouses. That if we move the products to the warehouses, then it is updates the stock or manage the inventory from the main warehouses to the damaged warehouses. And there's an ability to issue credits to the customers who initiate the returns, and the ability to track the returns of the parts of the customer services history. Like these are all are the return process that we need to follow while performing the return task, and then the inventory, and this functionality which has to be handled. Now I will give a demonstrate about the how POs are created, and how we can transfer the products from one warehouse to another, and how to leverage the products from the adjustment by creating an adjustment in it. So for this, is my screen is on? So for so in a field service, while adding the in the field service, in the setting street products need to be defined in the site map. So when the products are created, there's a product catalog which needs to be handled over there. So for defining the product in an inventory, we first create the product which are available in over there. Either it can be in inventory, non-inventory, or the services. These are the other parts of the thing. But to manage the products in an inventory, we need to define it firstly, that this should be belongs to the inventory. After that, once the product is added in the inventory stock, to add to manage the product inventory, we will create the PO for it. For creating the PO, we need to mention the basic details of it. In new PO, we there are some basic details we need to mention, like the from whom we are on the order the products and what will be the status of it, and the details of date expected, ship to ship via payment terms, and receive to warehouse, and in which warehouse we wanted these products to be maintained. These all things are should be kept here. And once the PO is created, we can add the purchase order products in it by defining the quantity and the cost of the product and description. The product here and the quantity, as I can order the 50 quantity, and the unit cost on the is auto populated, which was defined on the product while creating it. Once the PO is and the products is added, we can submit it. It's in the draft state. So now you can see there's a no inventory or the stock is available for that product. Uh, to submit, once we submit it, and the product inventory got updated, and the purchase order or quantity to order is updated in the product inventory. And the PO is created, the quantity is updated over there. So we can now create and transfer order or the inventory adjustment. Once when we are creating an inventory adjustment, we need to select the warehouses in which we need to add the products in it. And I had selected the warehouses as in the main warehouse, and the request by the resource is urban, and now we need to add the products of it. The unit in which we wanted to transfer it. Once the product is added, the stock get updated over there. Like in the armband 100, it was previously it was and the 30 and the 51 is updated here, and the inventory transfer is made. Now we can transfer the products from the one warehouses to another. For transferring the product, we need to enter the source warehouses as in the main warehouse, and the destination warehouse. Here is the validations are implemented, like we cannot select the warehouses like same warehouses on both the source and the destination. So the warehouses are selected, and the inventory adjustment is made over there from one warehouses to another, like headphones. And these products are transferred. Yes.
What was this inventory transfer in the last screen?
Last screen was an inventory adjustment.
Right. When you created
And
it, right hand side there was a field which got inventory. At... Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Please go ahead.
the inventory adjustment, yeah, the inventory adjustment product is common for both the entities, in the transfer side and the adjustment side, both side. And once we add the adjustment in it, the stock got updated in the inventory. Yeah, as you can see, the quantity of the available quantity as 10, and the quantity allocated on hand is also updated as 10. And the adjustment is done and the transfer is done. So once all this functionality is done, we can receive to maintain the purchase order and to receive it. While once we started the receiving the product, it can update the quantity on hand of the product. Like for this for creating the receipts, we need to click on the save button and name it. I'll select PO first. And the person who is receiving it, so we can select the receivers and Tripwire. Once the receipt is created, we can add the purchase order receipt for the particular product. Like this PO is associated with this receipt. Now the products are associated with this receipt is also is auto populated here. We can select it, and only the quantity which we had ordered is allowed us to receive it. If you want an update it like this, and it will show us an error that we cannot receive quantities as 50 because it's we have only 5. So these validations are also applied, and it automatically associate the warehouse with it. Once we receive the products of it, it got updated. Now you can see the on-hand quantity for that product is -1 and the allocated quantity was -1. It got updated. It got updated as a 9 in the armband 100. So this is how we can perform all the inventory task in the inventory management, like receiving of the products and the receipts which we had applied. So that is one thing. Thank you so much. Is there any question or anything that you want to add here?
Not necessarily. Anubhav, one query, like, other Dynamics product, which is like Business Central, or is there any other product they are also having this inventory?
Yes, we have the supply chain management in the finance and operations, but which is it is based on the if we have need a high complexity of the products and the price list and needed more complex things in the inventory stock management, then we go for this, and they are expensive.
So its structure is different than this one. That you wanted to say?
Not properly. The structure is same, but over there there are some of the things which are different. Like in the supply chain management, we have the POs and PO receipt and bill invoices, and also all these things are associated with it.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.